Hello everybody. I should start the stream by saying Happy Halloween. Jamie,
Hello.
today is an exciting day.
It's really exciting. It really
We've got
is.
a lot to cover in this stream, so we're going to have to dive straight in. Last year, All Hallows Dreams was focused on a haunted house.
Yes.
And we were all creating rooms for a haunted house. This year, Jamie had a great idea. Completely different. But, Jamie, what is it?
Yeah, so this time we're doing a gigantic ghost train.
Woo!
Woo! Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a great idea, Jamie. As soon as you mentioned it, I was like, yes.
Shall we go through an example first, just to show everyone what it's kind of like? Awesome. I think this one has gameplay too. This is made by Chloe, and it's...
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So it's like an on-rails kind of thing, on-rail shooter.
Oh, good.
Oh, it's just bliss.
Look at this! I love it.
Oh, the witch, I love it.
I love the little bumps that you can see up high.
Oh yeah, it's so cool.
So brilliant. I love little witch RTO.
Oh, it's just the icing on the cake. Absolutely love it.
Fire! It's so good.
The moving targets as well. Brilliant.
Yeah. All these little elements just make it such an exciting idea.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So this is a bit more, what's the best word? A bit more involved in haunted rooms.
Yes.
But I think everyone is going to do excellently. I don't think there's... you can do it as intricate as you want, or you can just have a little experiential piece. It's totally up to you. I think it's fantastic.
Awesome. I love that ghost train so much. Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't even have to be as complicated as that. Because we're just letting you do whatever you like. Because you can make a nice scenic one, you don't have to add any shooting up gameplay. But yeah, let's just go for it. Let's make one. Let's do it.
Entropy asks, is there going to be a scoreboard? There'd be far too many scoreboards.
Oh yes. We are actually going to do one because we're going to have several... we're going to connect the community ghost trains together and have an overall score. Yes, we are.
I did not know this.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys.
So yeah, exactly. So we're going to have
1 week off and the whole event transformed. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, that's the plan anyway. Right,
excellent.
some setup for this one.
Right.
You have to start off by remixing this scene here on the left called Ghost Train Template. You can go in there, but you're good to start.
Nice.
Some rules to go over. You can't put down more than 30 track pieces, because otherwise, it might be a bit huge. Also, yeah, we don't want like huge sort of.
Yeah. That's official rules, by the way, folks. Might be a bit huge.
Might be a bit huge, yeah, and we don't want that. Anyway, that, and you have to keep the entire experience under 2 minutes. There is a kind of thing I need to mention later on about that, but we'll just start making some train stuff. This is the first element that you're going to stamp down, which is the starting tunnel, and this is where the car comes from. The little train car. It's so cute. Hang on, I need to sort of put in play mode just so you can see it. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Another thing I need to mention is there's a scene properties microchip in here. This turns this grid on and off. Everything you put down that is a ghost train track piece needs to be on this grid in some way. Like if I start putting down pieces, it can be vertically like up here, but as long as it stays within like the boundaries of this, like the X and Z sort of coordinates, then it's absolutely fine. You can decorate outside of that, but that's another thing I'm going to talk about later, and you can turn it on and off. It needs to stay here, you can't get rid of it, because when it comes to reviewing them, we need to know that you've stayed to these rules, these boundaries. But that's how you turn it on and off, so that when you have decorated it, you can just turn it off. Another thing to keep in mind, I've mentioned in the rules, keep it to 4 units on the grid snap, so when you go to guides, you turn the grid snap, it says at 4, but 2 is probably better now that I've had a lot of time to play with it, because there are some pieces that sort of link together better. For example, the hill pieces, they go 2 units, so it's easier for them to snap to. Right, so I've got lots of different pieces here. I'm going to start with some simple pieces. And the reason that we're using the grid is so that all of the pieces link together. And like if we, if it wasn't on the grid, like that wouldn't let the train actually work. It has to be exactly on the grid. Another thing which is really useful is if you take off preview invisibility, all of the pieces will have arrows on them, so it tells you what direction they're going. Because sometimes it can be quite difficult, like when you place down a track piece like this, you can see that the arrow is going in the opposite direction to where the train goes, and the train will just stop there because it's expecting a left turn. So what you would do is just turn it around and put it into place so that the arrow is pointing in the right direction, and then it will follow properly. Yes?
Joe Team's asking, does the entrance piece need to be at ground level?
Nope, it doesn't have to be. You can have it up here if you like. It's fine as long as it's in line with the floor. So I'll just turn on the floor again just to demonstrate that. So as you can see, if you look at it like a bird's eye view, it would still be on there, but it can be as vertical. It could be below the grid as well. Yeah, absolutely. And we've got sloped pieces as well, so you can add like hills and stuff. I'm just going to add some more pieces. What else do we have? This is a cool one, a pause track. So you put this down, and one thing I should mention is all the pieces are tweakable. You can set the speed that the car goes on the pieces if you scope into the track. Open up this microchip, and there's one called train speed. You can drag it right down and press play. You can see that it goes about half the speed as it would on any other track. Or you can just full whack and then just have a speedy piece. Yeah. And then it will get to the next piece, and then it will slow down to the speed on that track piece. But the thing about the pause track is it pauses the train for as long as it's on this middle bit. So you've got a value slider on this one that tells you how long the pause length should be. So that's in seconds, so you can have a maximum of 5 seconds on this piece. I'll just wait for the train to go around. But once it gets to the sort of black bricks kind of thing in the middle, it will stay there for 5 seconds, which might be good for adding a bit of like narrative to your level, I suppose, if you've got like characters speaking.
Wargarble says Casey will make an 8-hour train ride that leads to another hour-long wait for a secret message, and I'd love it. There is what I'm now dubbing the anti-Casey rule. Have we put a specific time limit? I think there is a
2 minutes maximum.
2 minutes of playtime.
Yes.
Animation asks, is it possible to tilt the turn pieces a bit so you can create a twisting ascent upwards?
Now, I would say yes, but only as long as the train gets to the end of the track normally. It might take some tweaking to get right. I'm very happy for people to go and make their own track pieces because it's not very complex. I'll give a quick demonstration. All it is...
But as long as it ends where it should end.
Certainly, yeah. Like as long as it ends in an ending track that looks like this, then I'm happy. All it is just a tag that's been animated along a line, and when it gets to the end of that, it tells the next piece to start moving. So I'm happy for people to reverse engineer it and make their own like spiral staircase tracks. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Interesting. Bid asks, for the 30 pieces, does the enter and exit tunnels count towards that?
Yes.
Yes,
they do. I think you'll find it quite hard to get to 30 pieces without hitting the 2-minute limit as well.
Yeah,
so just keep that in mind. A lot of this is going to be left to people to do decoration, I suppose, because currently it's just like a small piece for making things. Right, I'm going to add some gameplay to this now. Let's get as I've dubbed, Rooty Tooty Spooky Shooty. It sounds better when you hear yourself say it.
Rooty Tooty Spooky Shooty.
To add some gameplay to your Ghost Train, you don't have to. I'm just going to make that a thing that you need to know. You don't have to do this. If you want to make an entirely scenic route, that's absolutely fine. We're happy for that. But if you want to add some gameplay, you need to head to this section of the Ghost Train kit, which says add some gameplay, optional. In the shooter kit, you'll find the shooter setup element. If you place that, then automatically you're given a score HUD, and you can shoot, which is so much fun.
Nice.
Now, I know in the rules we've said don't tweak this stuff, but there is actually something that you can tweak that was added quite recently. If you scope into the sort of microchip here, where the imp hand trapper is, go into the controls and into this microchip here for sound effects, you can change the sound that your gun makes. So it starts off as air gun, but you can turn it into laser blaster for this, which I think sounds amazing. Or you can have a pistol instead.
Sorry, Jamie. A couple of questions about the grid, about the setup.
Certainly.
Try me doing SK3 asking what do the text gadgets do on the floor?
Those are a bespoke. Hang on. I'll need to put this back on so you can see. It's like a bespoke. No, don't worry about it. It's a bespoke grid. It's like a floor that we've sort of put together to let you know where you can sort of add track pieces to. Track pieces can't be added past this area. I should also mention that you can have them on the edge of the grid as well. So for example, if you had like a curved piece that does this and goes right up to the edge, that's absolutely fine. Just as long as it doesn't like go outwards from that. Like this is okay to do.
Nice.
Lovely. Yeah. Any other questions?
And then, Ichiban Kaneda was asking, can we add a non-collidable visual bit to the rail?
Yeah, you absolutely can. And another cool thing is you don't even have to use these rails. You can get rid of the rails, make your own. Yeah. We actually encourage you, if you'd like, to make these sculpts invisible, and you can make your own rail. Yeah, and in Chloe's example, Ghost Train, I think she did a few that were entirely invisible, but the text still worked, so you could have like a floating, like it doesn't have to be based on a rail like an actual Ghost Train would be. You can do whatever you like. I'm going to add some targets. Because why not?
Yeah, sorry, right, back to the gameplay.
Back to it. Yeah, so I've just picked up a target. I'm just going to shoot them. I'm going to stamp them. I'm eager to.
Then you're going to shoot them.
Yeah, I'm going to add a few just so you can see the kind of effects on these things. But by default, you shoot with. I'll mention you shoot with X or R2, and when you shoot them down, it adds to the multiplier. Once you get 5 in succession, it increases your multiplier up to a multiplier of 10. So you eventually get 100 points for each target. So that makes for some interesting gameplay, I suppose. There is another target, which is the hazard target. When you shoot that, it resets your multiplier and takes 10 points away, which is evil. But we encourage it because, why not? Another thing is these targets have inputs and outputs. The input of a target means that you can make it so that the target pops up, so it doesn't start up by default. So if I add something like a timer, like this, give it like a second and a half for it to pop up, I can use the output of anything. I can use any signal I want and put it into the input. Now what I need to do is go into the target and make it start deactivated. It's a switch on here that makes it start sort of like down, and after 1.5 seconds goes pop, and then it's ready for shooting. And you can do that with any of the targets that we've given you in this kit.
Could you make new targets?
You absolutely can. You can use the target as a base, and you can also just edit the sculpt of this so it doesn't have to look like this. There's this target as well, which is like a bonus target. On here it says 15, and that's how many shots you can give it before it falls down. But you can change the number. You can have a maximum of 25. So that means when I go into play mode, I can go. It's a good way to add to the multiplier before it goes down.
Ryan Valentine was asking, is there a height limit for this? I don't imagine so.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, you can just add loads of slope pieces and corner pieces together to make it as high as you like. Go for it. Yeah, it's your scene. That's another thing I should have mentioned. There is no thermal limit to this because it's your scene, and we don't have to curate it within a scene like we've had to with Dreamscom stuff. So,
Yeah.
but all we would ask you is to make sure it's light on frame rate, and you can check this by going into test mode and making sure that you don't get any kind of warnings to say, oh, like slowdowns or anything like that. The reason we're asking that is because this is entirely VR compatible.
Whee! Oh, he said it, folks. He said it.
You can also make it so that the number isn't shown on this as well, so you can go back in and the player doesn't know how many times they have to shoot it before it goes down. And if you want it to be evil, you could put a hazard target right behind it so that it gets rid of the multiplier that they've just earned. Just giving you really evil ideas now. We've got some extra track pieces that are interactive as well, so I'm going to lodge them in here somewhere. I'm going to get rid of the ending. We've got a couple of different pieces. One that acts similar to a pause track, which is the one that sort of pauses you when you're in the midpoint of the track, but it waits for you to do something to trigger this track to keep going on, if that makes sense. We've got targets specifically for this that don't give any points away. So this one's called the trigger target. So I'm going to put that here. I'm going to take the output of this. So the output, I should mention again, is when it's shot, when the target is shot, it gives a constant output. So I'm going to take the output of this, I'm going to put it into the input of this trigger track. Now, when I play this, it will pause me when I'm on the pause bit of the track. It will wait for an input. Now, I'm going to look over here, I'm going to shoot that, and it sort of continues you, which is quite fun if you've got, like, optional pieces. Now, the reason I was going to mention this earlier, that we have the 2-minute limit, adding this aspect to it makes it so it's a bit more complicated to assess that it stays within two minutes. But what we're just going to ask you to do is make it so that you can get through it as quickly as possible. So if you go through it as fast as you can, and it's under 2 minutes, and that's absolutely fine. But it's also okay for people to skip the track as well, which is another feature we're going to add to this. We're going to make it so that if people are just like, oh, I'm not really bothered about this, you press the touchpad and it activates. It will tell the end piece of the track to trigger the doorway. So if you have something that's like it takes ages to get through, or if they don't want to spend the 2 minutes on the track, then they can just skip it, which is absolutely fine. We've got another piece as well, which is quite fun because you can split the path that the Ghost Train takes, which is something you don't often see in theme parks, I think.
That's true. It's very true.
Yeah, just make it go in a completely different route. I'm just going to add a bit more to it just so you can see the effects. Put one here, put another one here. So this gives the player a choice. It means that if you put 2 trigger targets down, I'm going to put one here and one over here. Just move that over there a bit. I'm going to take the output of these targets and put it into either input. So this is for the left. This input tells the fork track that the player wants to go left. And this one tells it that the player wants to go right. You could switch them around and cause a bit of, hassle if you'd like to. I pressed the right one and went left. What's that about?
Yeah.
I'll show you now how this works. Yeah, you can get evil with this stuff. You could even make it so that a hazard target causes you to select one of the paths on the fork track, which means you get rid of the multiplier as well. But yeah, you can just shoot one of these targets and it will take you down that route.
That's nice.
Just to demonstrate it, you can also shoot it earlier and it will just take you straight there. You don't have to be waiting on the pause section and you'll just automatically go there.
Amazing.
Yeah, bit of fun.
Could Vince asks, could you have the track loop on itself?
Like a circuit kind of
if
thing.
there are splits, yeah.
No, you can't, because we've specifically made it so that you can only go over each track piece once.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
Thought of everything, haven't they?
But there's another target that you can use as well, which is the trigger track toggle piece. It doesn't have much use on the Ghost Train itself, but it's good for sort of adding a bit of interactivity, I suppose. Now, what it does, it toggles a signal on or off. So if I just have a sculpt here, and I take the output of this, and then put it into the power of that sculpt, so the output of this target goes to a sculpt there. Every time I shoot it, it turns it on and off. Should also mention, once you're done making your track, like this is just for the Ghost Train. The grid, that is, the floor. I'll just turn it back on to demonstrate. This is just for the Ghost Train pieces. So your starting ending point will be within this, but the rest of the scene is entirely up to you. You can decorate it absolutely however you like, and it doesn't have to just be on this grid that we've made. It can be absolutely anywhere else. Nice. Oh, I didn't even show off the door piece. We've got a door piece. Look at that. This is done by Reese.
A door piece, folks.
A door piece. Yeah, Reese made this. It's really cool. It's basically the door from the starting and ending track door, and it's good for just like sectioning off pieces of your Ghost Train if you've got multiple sections to it. And it just waits for you to get nearby, and then it opens, which is fun.
Nice. Do we need to make sure the rail keeps going through the door? Do you mean the end? Like, to get to the end? Yeah,
it has to be on a rail. But I suppose you can use it decoratively elsewhere, but it specifically waits for the Ghost Train to be on the rail, just using a trigger zone. You can tweak this as well, by the way, if you want to. You can tweak the trigger zone, which which tells the door to open. And it won't shut until the train isn't there anymore, so I can have it like that. Like that, then it will open a bit earlier.
And Kira says, will the end time automatically take you to someone else's? It will indeed.
Yeah, so we're going to link everyone's Ghost Trains together, and as you can see, we've got the end piece here. And in the logic of this end track, I hope it's here. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Once it gets to the end and it's finished this little camera wiper, then it activates this doorway, which will take you to another community member's Ghost Train. Well, I'm going to demonstrate something cool with the targets as well, because they've all got inputs, and you can use the output of one target to be the input of the next target, so you can get like really cool wave effects with them. So if I start off with this target here, and I just go in to this next one and make it start deactivated, and then use the output of this one into the input of that one, and then just keep doing that, like that, like that, and then I'll just push them together. You can make it so that when you hit the first target, you can hit the second, and then the third, and then the fourth.
No,
like
it's good.
Yeah,
oh, it's so good.
It's quite satisfying.
Destro was saying, I keep repeating the question, but is there a limit to how many scenes we can make? It'll only be one per dreamer.
Yeah, one, unfortunately. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you make some cool Ghost Trains. I really do.
Amazing.
I'm looking forward to seeing what people make.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I
Should be fun.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Jamie, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have fun.
Good luck with the rest of your weeks. Hope you all be well. We shall speak to you later.
Cool. See you, everyone.
Bye.